Well, guys, isn't it funny how egg prices were such a massive focus of Bidenomics? How these grocery prices are just too high. Now, don't get me wrong, grocery prices and the cost of a lot of things got pretty high under Joe Biden's presidency. And it did all across the world. COVID brought about something called global inflation. You hear a lot about inflation of your country's currency a lot, like, oh, the US dollar is experiencing inflation, so on and so forth. And oftentimes, it can be due to some bad leadership or poor decisions that can lead to a rise in inflation and a rise in prices, a drop in the buying power of the US dollar. That can happen. But generally, more often than not, inflation on a country level correlates directly with inflation on a global scale. And in the case of America, and a lot of the Western world, actually, and well, the whole world, but in the case of the Western world where most people speak English and can post online, and we have, like, data for all that, or at least I've seen it, most of Europe, America, Canada, all that was heavily affected by inflation from COVID. It wasn't due to their individual leaders, nor America's, causing these problems, but it was due to the fact that most of the world was flipped upside down by a pandemic and a big war happening back to back. And then on top of that, you have to remember, for a good amount of time, Houthi pirates were trying to shut down one of the biggest trade routes in all of the oceans of our planet, okay? So there was some pretty crazy things that happened that had nothing to do with Biden during Biden's 4 years that heavily affected the prices of groceries. But in response, Biden as president did do what you hope the president does. He managed interest rates. He helped to raise wages and lower unemployment. Across the board, actually, the U.S. economy has been growing and healing at a rate that has never been seen in U.S. history. Something that's actually kind of unfortunate, though, and there's a lot of data and studies that have been done on this, is that in every single metric imaginable, from economic stability to safety, or how safe people feel in regards to, like, the likelihood of them being a victim of crime, Americans, despite their situation getting better on a measurable level every year, even if some years are worse than others in terms of improved quality of life in one way or the other, when asked about their confidence in the future, Americans year by year rate their confidence lower and lower and lower. So a good example of this are crime statistics. America is at a point right now where crime is lower than it has ever been in the history of the country. And despite that, Americans are more afraid of crime than at any point in the history of the country. And this is not an isolated situation to just crime. It is a situation that broadens out to every single relevant issue in politics. Every American, despite every metric showing things are getting better, although they could be getting better faster, Americans are getting more and more doomer about the future. Basically showing that regardless of what material reality actually demonstrates, it's more like a vibe and a feeling that Americans will, like, in mass agree upon, whether or not they approve of the way things are going. And it can be completely contradictory to reality, but it doesn't matter, you know? Like, do you really think that this is impossible when Americans are more afraid of crime now than ever, despite this being the safest time of all time to be an American? A lot of this is vibes. Americans are very vibes focused. We tend to panic. We're loud. We like excitement and drama and whatnot. And at the end of the day, the Democrats, well, a lot of their rhetoric does boil down to, no, the West is not in fact falling. We just need to reform our systems and help the lowest of our society, those that are the most privileged. That doesn't sound appealing or sexy to Americans, because Americans want to hear the West is falling. America was once great, but now it is being destroyed from the inside by, like, they want to hear things like that. That's what they want to hear. Anyway, with that in mind, knowing like how a lot of conservatives and a lot of Americans just in general tend to think, I want to go into this acknowledging that yes, it is possible that Donald Trump, granted it's only been like, what, 15, 20 days or something, Donald Trump hasn't been president for all that long. And so it's possible that he has not been the result or the cause of these high egg prices and the massive shortage in them. However, neither was Biden during his presidency. So why the fuck should we ever give Trump the benefit of the doubt? None of you people were willing to learn about global inflation or working with the Federal Reserve to manage interest rates when inflation is high. None of you were willing to talk about how low Biden brought unemployment, how low or how much Biden rose wages to record highs for all of American history to meet those high prices that he couldn't control. How Biden tried to pass a bill that would have banned raising the prices of groceries even higher, and the Republicans at Trump's whims blocked it. I see no reason whatsoever to give Trump the benefit of the doubt. These are Trump's egg prices. This is Trump's economy. And he and his MAGA crew that he has isolated to be all of our government now, because there is no Democrats to push back anymore, they are solely responsible for what comes from this. The ball is entirely in their court, and I will not sit by and watch as chuds in the coming months and years try to say, oh, well, you can't really blame Trump for the planes falling out of the sky. You can't blame Trump for the fact that gas is $8 a gallon. You can't blame Trump for the fact that the entire country experiences regular rolling blackouts every 2 hours. Like, you can't blame him for these things. These are from Bidenomics. If we didn't get Trump in sooner, things would be worse. I'm not gonna let them do that shit, all right?
Today held its first press briefing of the new Trump presidency. Caroline Leavitt made her debut as press secretary, the youngest person to ever hold that job. And we got a preview of how this administration may handle the media moving forward, as WBZ political analyst John Keller shows us.
And President Trump is back, and the golden age of America has most definitely begun.
If the new White House press secretary looks familiar,
I'm Caroline Leavitt in New Hampshire's my home.
It's because she lost a bid for Congress back in 2022.
Oh,
but
boy.
with former Senator Scott Brown calling on her to, quote, give them hell, Leavitt made it clear she intends to continue the president's long-term battle against the news media, at least those who dare challenge his spin.
We know for a fact there have been lies that have been pushed by many legacy media outlets in this country about this president.
But it didn't take long for Leavitt to play.
For those who don't know, this is the federal government coming out to start cracking down on mainstream media that attacks Trump. Let's hope it ends at mainstream media, because it would suck. It would suck. I would not like to go to prison for criticizing the God Emperor. That would, because that as they would still defend that. They would still defend that as just protecting freedom of speech or something. They would be real audacious about it. Like, it was anti-freedom of speech when they were allowed to express their opinions. Arresting them is actually protecting freedom of speech. That is how a lot of these people operate.
Loose with the truth about the current explosion of egg prices.
The Biden administration and the Department of Agriculture directed the mass killing of more than 100 million chickens, which has led to a lack of chicken supply in this country, therefore a lack of egg supply.
Actually,
They mass killed 100,000 chickens so that there wouldn't be enough supply in the country when Trump took office. Okay, let's find out what actually happened.
Led to a lack of chicken supply in this country, therefore a lack of egg supply.
Actually, a bird flu outbreak prompted the chicken culling under a federal policy adopted in 2017.
Well, don't worry, guys. Under Trump, they won't be culling any more livestock infected with dangerous diseases. We don't have to worry about that. Those chicken cullings, they'll be putting a stop to that. Those lib chicken cullings. Well, bird flu. Who the fuck cares? Eat your chicken. Snowflake? What are you, a snowflake? Can't handle a little bird flu in your chicken?
during Trump's first term. And under a barrage of questions about the sudden White House freeze on aid programs, Leavitt first insisted concerns about programs like Medicaid, which pays health care bills for low-income people, were yet another case of media malpractice.
There's only uncertainty in this room amongst the media. There's no uncertainty in this building.
But that turned out not to be true.
Are you guaranteeing here that no individual now on Medicaid would see a cutoff because of the pause?
I'll check back on that and get back to you.
So, Courtney, as we reported off the top, in a scene reminiscent of the chaos at airports.
I feel like the only way I can summarize this whole situation is to say this. America as a country was made by bastards and for fuckers. And that remains true to this day. This country was made by bastards and for fuckers.
When Mr. Trump kicked off his first term with that travel ban, remember that? There was mass confusion over whether or not Medicaid payments would be frozen, and the White House now claims they won't be.
So did you see anything new in the way?
All right, guys, hear me out. Here is how we get the real-life zombie apocalypse. Now that we know that the Trump administration will be almost certainly disallowing culling animals with diseases, the next mad cow disease instance, the next time a cow eats some more cow or cow brain and gets a prion or some shit that gives it, like, makes it a zombie cow, that meat is going to end up in circulation. It's going to now. That's gonna happen. That's kind of scary. Like, your food could kill you. Like, there is a good chance that people are going to die because they ate some food they bought at the grocery store. Oh, you got unlucky. That's the death food. You got a prion. No cure. Sorry, you're gonna die. There is no cure for that, by the way. If you eat prion-infected meat, you're dead. It's a death sentence. There is no cure. There never will be a cure. It's just the way that prions work. So, like, if this is the new norm, if this is the new norm that we're not going to be, like, culling animals with, deadly diseases, man, I might go vegan, bro. I might go vegan just for safety. First man to go vegan for his own safety.
Way this briefing went.
Not really. For some time under presidents of both parties, they've been almost entirely...
Remember, though, by the way, even though you can wash vegetables, which helps, but don't just assume your vegetables are going to be fine. I think there's been, like, outbreaks of horrible shit like listeria in cabbages and stuff like that. So make sure you wash the fuck out of your vegetables and your fruits. There's also sometimes... Oh, my gosh, my nose is so itchy from the dry skin. Sometimes there's pesticides on there, too. They tend to wash that stuff, but you give it an extra wash just in case. Just for your own... Just a safety wash of your fruits and vegetables, just in case.
Really an exercise in political spin. While Leavitt handled herself well for the most part, I thought it's never a good look when government blames the media for confusion it created.
No, it's the evil left-wing media. They're attacking King Trump. Let's see what the comments are like. I'm curious to see if it's chuds or if it's reasonable people. Oh, we have a chud comment section, guys. Are you excited to hear the cope? It's incredible to see this live and then hear a biased legacy media voiceover spinning this. My God. Try not to let your own personal bias leak so hard into your reporting, lady. I really hate these media outlets. The motherfuckers are unhinged. Moving forward, poor people are not going to be able to feed their family. Well, that's a decent comment, because that's true. All she did was blame and blame. We will never get a straight answer. Yep, still blaming Biden. Well, like the chuds are. In Springfield, people have started eating kittens because they can't buy eggs. Y'all lying on her already and chopped the video up. I watched the whole thing. Why? You lied and said... She makes a claim and they debunked the claim. You misrepresented her because you cut her out of context. Does she proceed to say, just kidding, I don't mean that, after that clip or something? Does she start, like, before that clip, does she say, by the way, I don't mean anything I'm about to say, and then she said it, and then, like, they cut that? Because the clip they showed was her lying, and then the truth after that lie. But this is the level of, like, disingenuousness a lot of conservatives operate on. They'll literally see the truth shown to them. They'll see that someone lied to them, and they'll get mad at you for demonstrating that. Boston. These snarky reporters are only giving half-truths. Fuel costs and regulations are causing farms to shudder. That's right, guys. Fuel costs, not Trump's fault, though. And regulations are what are causing the farms to shudder. And it's the regulations. We got to deregulate. We need more deregulation, guys. Market basket had overload of eggs, and the cost was similar of that the last time we had a spike in price. Truth is, though, the president can't control price. There it is, dude. Where was this the last 4 years, guys? Where was this talking point the last 4 years, huh? Truth is, though, the president can't control prices. Corporations and businesses do. I think she did great overall with her first press conference. Guys, don't you know the president doesn't control the prices? Guys, how could you think they never thought the president controlled the price. They never claimed that. They never operated under the assumption the president controlled the price. That never happened, guys. That never happened. Never. Nope. Bidenomics was never one of the big talking points. It was never about grocery prices and trying to distract people from the fact that Biden had risen wages and improved the economy more than any president ever before. No, the president can't control these prices, guys, and we've always been saying this. Why am I not surprised? The immediate jump, the immediate cope. And funnily enough, technically it's not even cope, because they are right. Trump probably is not responsible for these high egg prices, but his administration's response demonstrates something even scarier, that they are blaming a health and safety practice that was taken in order to prevent a mass outbreak of a disease. Trump and his administration are framing that as a bad thing, which means surely that's going to be something they put a stop to in the near future, which is even more worrying than just high egg prices and low supply of eggs. Thanks, RFK. Anyway, if you're wondering why the egg prices have been so high, that is it. And of course, the response from the right has been overwhelmingly in favor of Trump. They are on the copium train. It's important to remember that for a lot of these people, it is a cult. And no matter what they will do, and I'm quoting a Trump supporter when I say this, they will grade Trump on a curve. Essentially meaning, if Kamala Harris does something and Trump does the same thing, how bad it is there's a cap to how bad it can be for Trump. It could be an infinite level of bad for Kamala based on how they interpret it, but no matter how bad even if it is bad, there's a very low cap on how bad anything Trump does can be considered. He's graded on a curve, is what they'll say, which is literally just admitting they have different standards for Trump, but it's wording it in a way that most people won't recognize that as being what it means. It sounds smart. It sounds fair. We grade Trump on a curve, you know? It doesn't sound like what it really is, which is Trump is... We literally judge Trump differently, and by unfair standards. So anyway, if you guys like this segment, if you found it entertaining, educational, or enjoyable in any way whatsoever, then please consider leaving a like or a comment. It really does help a lot, especially when I'm watching live. It really means a ton and helps immensely. It forces YouTube to push my content to more people, more new viewers in real time, so it helps a lot, and I really appreciate it. You can also subscribe and ring the bell icon to turn on all notifications so that YouTube actually tells you when I go live or upload new videos if you like. I'd really appreciate it. You can follow my social medias, linked down below in the description as well. And if you want to support me directly, help me keep the lights on and the roof above my head here at the Xander Hall studio, you guys can donate, subscribe, gift a sub, or donate to me through YouTube, Twitch, Streamlabs, Stream Elements, Patreon, or buy merch through the Streamlabs link down below. Regardless of how you support me, though, whether it be through my website, through any of the other things I listed, or just lurking and hanging out and saying some nice words in chat, I really do appreciate it. And as always, I hope to see you again.